What's happening, everybody? Tuesday night, Whiskey Nose with hopefully Greg Keeley from Larrikin, however you want to say it. We will hopefully get clarification on that. Me and the Bourbon Jerk have, I guess, 6 samples. 2 are the same, and the other 4 are different. And we'll get into those and try those, see what we think, and we'll just talk through it. But we've got people already in the chat. Thank you guys so much. I've been emailing back with Greg. Hopefully he can figure this thing out. He doesn't do a lot of live streams, and he's had some staff change personnel stuff at the distillery, so we'll see what happens. But before we do, let's bring on the legend, the Bourbon Jerk. There he is.
What's going on, my friend?
Dude, you tell me. Glad to see you, man. Thanks for doing this with me again. I enjoy doing these kind of things with you.
It's always fun, brother.
Because I think, when we do these with the Turks and Scott and everybody seems to pull different notes than, others. And it kind of helps pull through and opens up your mind and all that good stuff. So,
you said it, man.
Forward to it. The top dog, the executive producer is here. Douglas Papa, as I like to say it, is here. Good to see you, buddy. Roger, the Hitman Reese. Who else we got in here? The Fritz Meister. Good to see you, Josh. Cheers, buddy. Top Jimmy is here. Good to see you, Top Jimmy. Thank you for all your support, buddy. Randall E. What's going on, man? Corvette Trey. Cheers, buddy. Hope everybody's good back your way. Talked to Jonathan about K-Luke in the area last night on the phone. Texting. There's Tiffany. Good to see you, Tiffany. Hope you're doing well. Thawing out up there. Who've I missed? Anybody? The Bourbon Neophyte, another great channel, guys. Get over there and sub. Peter says, I got a 2-ounce sample, Larrikin. High wheat from Doc Martinez, but I drank it, so we'll have something. Yes, neither one. I don't. You don't have a wheater, do you?
I don't. I was looking at their page over their
I
core range here, and I see that there's a high wheat rye whiskey. I wonder if that's what he's talking about. But no, that's not in my samples.
Meow, meow. Lick the like and like the lick. Yeah, Joey B. Cheers, buddy. There he is. You're right. All night. David Bays, what's up, bud? Good to see you. All right, I think we are. There's Anthony. Yeah, earlier. Good to see you, Anthony. Great stream Sunday, man. I enjoyed that. Octomore stream. That was good. Make sure I'm not missing.
It's been a minute since I had an Octomore.
Yeah, he went through, what was it, Anthony? 3 of them, I think. So, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do. I've got, like I said, me and Tom both have the single barrel, and it is the same single barrel. Because, we assume it is with the proof, 118.8. Then I've got a decade, 10-year, of course, 100% rye, 122.4 proof. That's this one. And then I have a maple finish bourbon. I'm going to do it last because of the flavor of the maple. I'm not,
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's how that's maple finished, but we'll figure it out. But we'll do that. But then, Tom, you talk about the other 2 you've got that are different than mine.
I've got the bottled in bond. It's an 8-year bottled in bond, 100%. I've heard good things about this one, Marty.
Okay.
Brandon, Whiskey Weather, told me it's a good one. I don't think I've tried it. I poured a little bit of these and shared them with Gary. Last time I saw him, I gave him some of these samples to try,
where
but I don't think I've tried
Whiskey
it yet.
Weather? Where is he?
He is. I know he's near Cincy.
Okay, that makes perfect sense because on my TV, on CBS, sometimes I go to the Cincinnati channel, and it was like Sunday morning, and I had it up, and I was fixing coffee and stuff, and I come to sit back down, and I saw a quick picture of him on the news, and I was like, wait a minute.
I know that dude.
Wait a minute. And I was like, okay, now I know okay, because I couldn't remember where it was, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. So, yeah, another great channel, guys. Go check out Whiskey Weather. And super good dude, too, man. All right. Let's see. Let's start out with the well, yeah, that's good. Let's start out with the single barrel. You gonna do that?
All right.
We'll see
And
what
yours
we get
says
on this
8 years, 118.8, Marty?
Yeah, let's see if I get that to zoom in. Yeah, there you go. Cast
Yeah.
cast
Yeah, it
strength.
says
Yours is a
the
7.
stats sure look the same.
Oh, okay, okay.
I was looking around on the website through their products, and if you click on single barrel, obviously it just says barrel proof because they're all different.
I tell you what, guys, we'll give away samples of these of mine.
But hey, Marty, how about tell me what you think of this? When I first unpackaged these, the first thing I noticed was the age on these. You know,
Yeah.
8, and 10.
Yep, mine's 8, 5, and 10, and yeah, I did notice that. And I think I don't know if their website says, but they had a different name before. I don't know if Greg bought the distillery in Lawrenceburg, but I think it's been an established distillery for a long while. And maybe Sugar Kitty knows. Somebody in the chat may know. I could look it up here, I guess. Where's the distillery? Their own juice or source? Lawrenceburg. They're right down the road, Fritzy, from Wild Turkey. That's how I saw them. I went to Turkey and I drove by it, but they were closed that day. And I was like, I've seen this before somewhere. And it's right down the street, literally. But yeah, that's. But I did look it up.
I kind of think it was a rebrand. I think it was just called Lawrenceburg Distilling.
It may be, Tom. That may
Top
be
Jimmy's
about right.
diamond in there.
Let me see if I can find something pop up here. Well, you're looking at it anyway, so if you see something, veteran owned and veteran distilled. He's Greg was in, I think, the Army and the Air Force. But let's see our story. Blah blah. Let's give y'all a heads up.
He's actually Navy.
Is it Navy? Yeah, there it is. Navy combat veteran.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to do a little bit of homework for tonight, so I went to the page, and for our story, it's just a little bit about Greg.
Yeah, and his wife.
But you know, I think here, how does he phrase it here? Something about, you know, okay, at Larrikin, we're not here to spin yarns about bourbon dating back to the Pilgrims. Our focus is dead simple. What kind of whiskey do we want in our glass? So it seems like the story is actually kind of, you know, pushing off the story idea and focusing more on what you're drinking and maybe more on the here and now as opposed to the past. So.
Yeah, let's see here. Can you still hear me while that's up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They have, I'll tell you something cool. I don't know if Tom saw it. They have a great big tasting room. And they also have, if I can find a picture of it, they have a walk-in cigar humidor.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know where the link for it is. I was trying to find it earlier. But anyway, she sent me a picture of it before she left. Or told me about it, I guess. And I found it somewhere. But yeah, here's some of their spirits, guys. They have a 9-year, which I'd like to try, a small batch.
Now that one, Marty, is the hazmat.
Is that when the 9-year is?
Yeah, it looks like they call it deep purple. And it's let's see, proof is 142.9.
Yeah, good gosh.
So that might be one to hunt down. Decent age statement. I mean, 9 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. What y'all? Let's see. There's the bottle and bond. I think that's the one Tom's got. I've got the maple. I think just maple finished. I guess.
Yeah, it looks like that's the bot. There you go.
Maple syrup casks. Okay, so that I'm digging that. That's not maple flavor. 90 proof. Yeah, that's the one I've got. Okay. Okay, I can handle that. And then I've got the Decade Rye. Right, that's cognac. That's the one you've got, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't know. You I'm assuming you follow Breaking Bourbon.
Yeah.
Marty.
Say again.
I said you follow Breaking Bourbon, the website review site. They had a write up about that the Decade cognac cask. And it did say that one was sourced from Alberta.
Okay.
Like if
I
you
don't see
went
the
to
rye.
their front page today, I think it was one of the bottles that they've got up there.
All right. Well, there we go.
So,
Now we know.
so that one is sourced.
Okay.
But I don't know about the bourbon.
Interesting. 877JG. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on, Danny?
I didn't miss something. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, guys, if I miss a chat or something, let me know. But we're going to start out with this cask strength single barrel bourbon, 118 proof, 8-year. So, put a little more in there.
Did you get into it yet? Or you mean poured it?
I had it poured. I just added to it.
Okay. So,
huh?
I get a lot of vanilla frosting notes on that one, and it's spicy.
It does have a little pepper kick real quick. Definitely get that Twinkie icing. That's pretty cool.
There you go.
I like it. Damn, it's coming off hot too, Tom. Like you said. Woo.
It's got some kick. It's not too hot, but it lets you know it's there.
118, so you can see it, guys.
And
that's pretty good color.
Okay, so it's a 21% rye mash bill, looks like, on these, so it does have some rye spice in there.
Well, shit.
So what I'm interested in is what the price tags on some of these are.
I don't know if it didn't say, did it?
No, because if we're looking at what, a 9-year single barrel Kentucky straight,
yeah,
at 118 proof, I mean, what's something that's comparable that's on the shelf? Like, that's a little higher age than like a Larceny barrel proof. Was Larceny like 6 to 8, Marty?
Yeah, right. 6 to 8's exactly what it is.
It's not quite as aged as an Elijah Craig, but somewhere in the middle there.
Right.
A little more aged than Rare Breed. Not much, but I would think that's probably a pretty good
Cindy, thank you.
one to compare.
If I can spell. Yeah, I like the nose of this one for sure. I think.
Top Jimmy says they are not cheap. Hey, Jimmy, what do you think the sticker price is on this one? If you don't mind.
Yeah. Top Jimmy, I think's been there. I think you told me that. I can't remember. Did I miss it? Are we having some? Yeah, we're supposed to. I don't know. I just went through the emails with Tom before we went live, and everything was what it should be. So, link was sent twice, but it's okay. We'll keep trucking. You never know. Life can happen. Have you tried it yet?
All right. Paul P. Fox and Odin Double Oak Batch 5. Really good. Okay. Jimmy, what's this? Do you know if this is like about $80? It'd be my guess, about 80 to 85. I had to throw a number out there.
What did I just
bought 3 bottles and the cheapest was 70. Okay.
Okay. Did you get that 9-year? Was that one of them? Top Jimmy?
No, not the hazmat. Mm-mm.
Okay. Did he say Top Jimmy? Did he say which ones he got?
No, he's trying to dig through his receipts.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if that's one of those situations, Marty, where you go to the distillery, you have a few pours, you buy a few bottles, and then you don't realize what they cost till maybe a few days later.
That's it for sure. Jeffrey. That guy's
What's going on, Jeff?
Maybe Trey Larkin can fill in some since his name. Yeah, there you go. And what's funny is I actually was saying Larkin the whole time until somebody corrected me. And I was like, that can't be right.
Well, how is it supposed to be pronounced? Larrikin?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I see 2 R's, that's kind of R. I don't know.
I don't know, but this little thing it came with, it says you may not know Larrikin the word, But you do know these Larrikins: Annie Oakley, Crocodile Dundee, Johnny Cash, Dolly Parton, Steve Irwin, and Pete Mitchell. We live the Larrikin way, bloody good bourbon. Okay. That's not. Yeah, we're tasting it. We are Larrikin Tastings and Experiences, cocktail bar, gift shop, walk-in cigar humidor. There's where I saw it. Veteran-owned, veteran distilled. Very nice. Larrikin. That's right. Larrikin.
I don't know. I have a feeling whichever way we say it,
JG's telling
JG's
me
going
how
to
to
bust
talk.
balls.
No, I think this one's great on the palate too, Tom. I think it's got that spice kick. The vanilla follows, like you said. I like that. I told you.
It's a real solid, right down the middle profile.
I poured it, guys, to what, Tom? I texted you one night 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I said, have you cracked your samples? And you said no, and I said, you may want to. And I wasn't a big fan of that one, but I like it now. Now that it's got little hobo bottle air to it, So Top Jimmy, bottled and bond, $90. 8-year, 110. 9-year, 110. Okay. That hazmat was just 110.
Well, some of the single barrels look like they were 9 years also.
Yeah. I don't know. 90's a lot for that bottled and bond, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I guess if you look at it relative to the market, an 8-year, what McKenna, 10-year bottle and bond?
I love this guy. My man.
They had one bottle for $300.
Where'd you see that at?
Yikes. Yeah, that's a big ask.
I just see. I guess the cart is for the merchant swag because it doesn't say purchase here anywhere.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Or at least on the website. They had one bottle for. Oh, you've already. Yeah. Huh.
McKenna coming down in my area now about $55. Maybe it'll get back to 30 to 35.
Wow.
I doubt it. I think it's still about $70 up by me, Jeff. Maybe it's going down.
I have I've had 3 of those, and I've never had a tannic one like a lot of people have. I like that bottle. I hope it does, Jeff, come down some more. I've got one unopened back there from 11, I think.
Yeah. See, to me, why I didn't like McKenna is the variance between the batches that I tried. I had a couple that were really good, and some that were just really bad.
Hey, Tats.
All over the place.
I don't know I don't know what happened to Greg, Chris. I sent him all the links and followed up with emails, but I haven't talked to him, so we had to talk through email. So life could have happened, and it's fine. Me and Tom are just going to go through what we got and do it that way. So cheers to you and Lil. Those prices are all coin flip, 50-50 chance McKenna is good. Yeah,
that's about right.
I believe you. I hate what I guess when I say it's crazy, I hate to risk that. I agree, Jeff. Yeah. We still like McKenna. Haven't had a bad one yet. Sadly, they're 65 here.
Yeah, that's about what they are up here, Paul.
Or even what higher. I hate is cigar Magnus is on the shelf everywhere here, 10 deep at $199. If they
I've noticed them more recently, Marty. And what's weird is when Total Wine moved into Michigan, all the prices were state min. Now they've got Magnus cigar blends behind their glass case, and it was like $240 or $250
at Total Wine.
Yeah, so I mean they've really gone up with their pricing. They've definitely gotten away from the state min stuff.
Yeah.
But I've noticed other stores around here having those on shelves, 2-3 deep at $200.
Oh, that's
Danny.
awesome.
Danny just snagged a 320, and it's fantastic. Yeah, so they're definitely out there.
I've got a lot. I can't do That I can't do those bottles right now. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I just on the life I've got to live for the next 3 months. I've got a lot of traveling coming up and
Well, yeah, that puts a damper on things you want to
Yeah.
do. I mean, it's easy to go and spend 50, $60 on a bottle and not think too much of it. But yeah, when it's $200, yeah, that's a hit in the wallet.
yeah. I was in Tennessee last week seeing my parents, trying to get mom and dad to say hello and all that. And me and dad hit a few stores, and I think was it where did I find it? Yeah, I think the old store in Kingsport had it. They had the barrel 5-year, the double barreled that you did a review
Foundation?
on, the 5-year barrel bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I like it. It was like, but that's the last thing I've gotten in a while.
Yeah. See, for $50, I love that.
Sweet. 200 get one review, or 200.
Yeah,
get 3 reviews.
exactly, Jeff. That does definitely factor into the equation for me.
Good point.
Trying
Good
to,
point. Cool
divvy
running
up
here.
samples and do content. Yeah, it's $200 is steep. It's a steep ask.
Yeah, I mean, I know they've got money in all those barrels and those blends, but damn, I think my first one, hell, it's right here. And the price is on the bottom. Yeah, 160. I don't know if I get that to focus or not, but
Or do 3 reviews on a 200 bottle. You could do that, Jay.
this is batch
Interesting concept.
67, and that's all I got. That's it. Yeah, 3 reviews. Yeah, that's a great point, Jeff.
Yeah, Danny says he got his for $1.65 shipped. So yeah, that's definitely a good.
That's good. Yep. That makes me feel better. Like, damn, am I?
Feel better about I feel a lot better about it at that price.
Yeah,
than
for
200
real.
plus tax.
All right, Tom, you pick one of yours.
Well, you've got the Decade Cognac cask.
No, I've got the Decade Rye, 100% rye. Then I go maple.
It's the same
last.
thing.
It is?
Yeah, because if you go to their page again,
Well, hell,
it's Decade 100% rye Cognac cask finished in cognac barrels, 122.4 proof, 10 years old. Does that jive with what your label says?
that's everything but cognac.
Well, yeah.
So I just figured it was a 10-year-old rye.
I'm gonna tell you that it's probably the same thing. They just didn't write cognac cask on it. I don't think they've got anything else like that isn't.
100%.
I mean, that's the only rye whiskey I see on their page.
Yeah, I was gonna say the other one's not there.
And
it's
then
not this.
Yeah, it's got it's got to be with the proof and the age. It's got to be the same thing.
Thank you, Paul P. and Corvette Trey. Awesome.
Yeah, you want to do that one then? That's going to be the rye?
Yeah, let's do that. I didn't realize that was the same. Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be. Does it look, relatively light compared to the others?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let me get that off the screen. Sorry, guys. We have the 8-year bottom bond here at home. All right, cool.
Well, I'm going to pour that one last, Chris. So if you want to follow along at home.
Damn you, Ed. You crazy son of a bitch. Ed coming in hot.
What's going on, Ed?
Big Ed. Big Ed. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
Ed, I think you've got a bottle that's due to show up on your doorstep, hand delivered tomorrow morning.
Cognac. You had me at cognac for sure.
So this is, again, Marty, this is the one that if you go to Breaking Bourbon, I think it's on their first page right now.
All right, let me see if I can.
Just did a review on it. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, they got two souls at the top, and if you scroll down to the middle, it's got a capsule review on the Decade Rye Cognac cask.
Okay.
And
release date.
and it is
January of
sourced
this
from
year.
Alberta Distillery. I guess this one retails for about $100, which for a 10-year, I mean, I guess
yes.
that's probably
Grape,
about
plum,
what you'd
custard,
expect.
aged toasted oak. I can see the custard in the grape.
All right, now this is probably the power of suggestion, but as soon as you said grape and I took a whiff, that's what I smell is grape.
It does. That's what it's. I mean, they nailed that. Yep. That is cool.
It's got a real nice nose to it. I'm getting like grape and like maybe melted butter over brown sugar.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. It's a little thinner in color, but it still sticks pretty well.
Yeah, I'm getting like grape and mint and vanilla, maybe like that mint chocolate chip ice cream type of vibe on the palate.
It's minty, but it doesn't burn with mint, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like a kiss of mint, not too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a big finish on it too.
Yeah. That's really good.
Ooh. I'm trying to think of another cognac finished whiskey that I've had recently, Marty. I'm kind of drawing a blank. How about you?
Can I send you some of that old elk one?
You know, if you
Maybe
did, I
way
probably
back?
drank it. I think you did a while ago. Yeah, I don't think I've had a cognac finished rye.
I don't know if I have. I know that that's only single cognac finish. I think well, wait a minute. No, his is Armagnac, Dan's. Now I want Texas Roadhouse. You can't sit in Texas Roadhouse and hear yourself think they got the damn music so loud in there anymore.
I haven't been there in a minute. That's with the peanuts on the floor, right?
Well, it used to be. They just put them on the table with a bucket now.
Well, I mean, they don't. You just throw the shells on the floor. Right?
Yeah,
They
I'm
don't
sure you
serve
could
them off
probably
the
get away
floor.
with it. Yeah.
But yeah, the
Well, that
Texas
mint-
Roadhouse rolls with that apple butter or apple cinnamon butter, whatever the heck that
Yeah,
is.
no kidding.
That's some good stuff.
I still throw
Or
them on the
Trey, I'll
floor.
throw
Hell
them on the
yeah.
floor. Yeah, Corvette Trey. There's something liberating about being able to throw stuff on the floor and it being generally encouraged.
It's like working at an egg factory. You cannot work there all day without throwing at least one egg at something. It's just, you got to. They do the brown sugar butter, yeah. For damn right.
Yeah, I really like this one, Marty.
I do too. It's getting better and better as we go back to it. That mint has kind of died down a little bit on the overpowering side, and then you get that good rye spice. And the cognac, I think, just kind of gives it, just a little bit of viscosity and body. It doesn't have a whole lot of cognac.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm tasting
Right.
cognac per se, but it rounds it out real nice.
Now I'm getting a little earthy note on the back end.
Okay.
Cheers, Vic. There's Dano. Thank you, Top Jimmy. You're awesome, dude. Just a few bucks. Yeah, you're freaking the man, dude. I like that one.
Yeah. With the age, the finish, and the flavor profile, I mean, I would say that's probably a decent value at $100.
Do you get? Are you
You
getting a
would
little bit of the
compare
earthy
it
finish?
to, you'd compare it to maybe like a Found North single barrel, maybe.
Okay. It's the longer I've let it sit there, the more I'm getting this little bit of earthy note. Kind of just turning a little bit. Slum, yeah, I hear you. Oh, dude, thanks, man. I need Richie Z in here so we can start dropping links.
Yeah, he's awesome like that.
Yeah, it got out last night how old Richie Z was, and I about fell out of my chair.
Don't tell me he's our age.
He's 55. He looks 25. Cheers, Roger. Literally, he looks 25. I was like, dude, unreal.
It's got to be that West Coast living.
That's it, man. He's just
These
life.
hard winters,
Cheers, Roger.
Marty, age us, give us that grizzled look.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, cheers to that, Roger.
Yeah. Roger must have been drinking. No, I'm just kidding. Don't say 55 like it's so old. No, I mean, no, I'm not. I'm just saying we all can agree Richie Z looks in his pictures and stuff 25. Damn right. Even if you have hair or not, it could maybe work. I'm just saying. All right.
All right, so
That's fantastic. But it's all earthy now to me on the
my
back
palate,
end.
Marty. I'm going to say that I like the finished rye a bit better than I like the single barrel. Which,
Okay.
Again, I like the single barrel a bit. Nothing wrong with that at all. I think this is just maybe a bit more unique, a little bit different on the profile in a really good way.
The Perkins. I guess, buddy. Yeah, he doesn't have
the
any.
California lifestyle.
All right, Jim. I'm good. No, so, hey, I'm 50, so I can talk some little shit now. Thank you, kitty. Meow meow. Lick the like the lick. All right, I'll let you. What are you going to do? Which one now?
Well, the only one I got left is that bottle of Bond.
All right, and I've got this maple one. 64 and look all of shit. No, you don't. That's funny.
Yeah, I put that one on my shelf, Marty.
Huh?
I said I'd put that one on my shelf.
Yep, I would too. I think it's nice because it's crazy too because it's 100% rye.
Hey, Roger, you got a milestone coming up, eh?
Damn right he does. We'll have to have a party for that.
Hell yeah, good for you, buddy.
All right, I'm gonna let that one sit. I'm gonna go back to the bottled and bond. No, is that what? No, the single barrel.
Single
You
barrel.
got bottled and bond.
So you got anything going for St. Patrick's Day, Marty?
I don't know yet. I don't know what we're gonna do. It's a Monday.
It's on a Monday.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Jenny's mom and stepdad will be here that Thursday for 2 or 3 days, so I don't know if we'll lay low or go do something. We'll see.
See, now to me, St. Patrick's Day is I always think of like the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Weather's breaking, and it's a good feeling because here we get like the 3 months of everything is fucking gray and it's dark at 5 o'clock and just kind of like the beginning of hey, you made it. And
You turn the page.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've turned the page. I missed text. No. All right. Well,
I'll send you the ARP link. Well, I'd be.
As soon as I turned 50, it should hit the mail.
I was just going to say that, Marty. As soon as we turned that, got to that milestone, they're recruiting us hard. Like we're getting stuff.
It was there the next day. Yeah, it beats all. 100 miles an hour, and it was there.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
Yeah, there we
recruiting
go.
us hard.
Anthony, for sure. Thank you, Sugar Kitty. Anthony had a great stream, guys. If you didn't see it, go back and watch the review from this past 2 days ago, Sunday night.
Yeah, doesn't he usually do a Sunday stream?
Yeah, he does like 7:30s, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30.
Yeah, 'cause he's
I get
out in the West
3:30. I
Coast,
guess
right?
4:30. Yeah. Yeah, we've got the. I was gone Sunday before. I need to get with him and reschedule that blind with him and Great Shot and Greg McDonald sent us. I got it sitting right there. Roger, please do so. I'll send you the ARP link. You are due for your first. Good Lord. This maple, God Almighty, it's not getting. I mean, you'd know it's finished, but it's kind of leathery. 90 proof on this one.
Hey, Marty, have you got to try that? The Penelope one. That's the maple Havana.
No, have not.
Okay.
I've
just
seen
got
it
a sample.
But
for whatever, it's flying off the shelves here. I think the stores are charging like $100. I've had some people message me and say, "Dude, don't buy it at $100." But I did just get a couple ounce sample from one of the guys in the Patreon, I think, and I'm gonna get into it soon. But it's maple and
there you go, folks. For all us old timers. Jeez.
But what is it? It's maple and rum finish, I think, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it sounds like it's going to be sweet as all get out.
Let me get back there. Sorry, guys. 55, I can't drive. Hell, I don't either.
So did we ever hear from Greg?
Nope. That's what I keep doing on my phone and up here bringing it down to see. William, gotcha, buddy.
Hey,
thank you, man.
Well, maybe he's on military time.
I don't know. And it's like Trey Larkin said. Maybe he didn't set his clock back. So who knows?
Well, hey, that's why it's good to have someone else here to bullshit.
Yeah.
With.
Yeah. Let me get this.
And here we are promoting his brand, drinking his whiskey. Well, hey, you know what? They were kind enough to send us these samples, so
sure.
I'm happy to drink their booze. And you know what? I don't have any problem with any of these so far. I think
I did at first. I told you, but no, I don't now. I think they've opened up nicely.
Yeah, I think in this bottled in bond, it's an 8-year. It's a really nice pour. Trying to think of what I compare it to. Got like a nice you say like some of these things over and over, but it's got like the nicest, creamiest caramel note up front. It's not too proofy, but it's not too light either. Like it's got like a nice viscous mouthfeel to it.
Yeah, Chris loves the 8-year.
Yeah, no doubt. If you were going to do a blind of bottled and bond Kentucky bourbons, I think this would probably do pretty good. It's got some real nice. It's got a good heft to it.
Yeah. That single barrel's getting more and more vanilla as it sits out.
All right. So Top Jimmy says, for me, Larrikin starts with their bottle and bond. Yeah, I think that's what I had heard as well. And, I can get on board with that statement, Top Jimmy.
What was this age statement on that bottled and bond? Was it 9 year or 7 year or something? 8. Okay.
8. Yeah.
I was all around it.
And I think he said it was about $100. Maybe a little pricey, but I guess if you figure it's a smaller craft distillery type situation, it's not too bad.
Yeah, no, that's good. All right. onto the maple.
So,
I mean,
yeah. So how are you liking the maple?
nose
Anything
is
you compare it
fantastic.
to?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's their rye is one of our favorites. You talking about the cognac one I've got here, the 10-year top dog? That's the only rye they had, wasn't it?
Yeah. The only rye they have
10-year.
is this sourced one.
Yeah, about 95. Tat said, yeah, okay, for the 8. Yeah, this thing's. I mean, it's not maple heavy. I think you know it's finished. I think you get a lot of sugar notes, of course, from the maple. You do get a good barrel flavor though.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh almost like maybe some toasted bread, cinnamon.
Okay.
Ah, wasn't much there
See,
on that.
see now any of the folks here that are in Michigan, there's a distillery called Ironfish, and one of their core products is a maple finish bourbon. Um, but it's really low proof. I think it's like 80 or 84, somewhere in that range.
Oh, that's right, John.
It's got like just a little kiss of maple. It's decent, but it kind of leaves you wanting for a little bit more proof. So I'm wondering if that 90 proof hits just right for that type of finish.
Is this John? Those pictures you sent me that I said were really cool. Though, is this the same distillery that he bought? The Lawrenceburg Distilling Company? Because here's a John sent me a picture of a high wheat rye whiskey, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. I think that might be. John don't know.
All right, Trey, I'm trying to figure out the best way to put these here.
He was Lawrenceburg Distilling Company before he changed the name. Okay. Yeah,
I don't know
sure
if my
was.
camera's going to pick this up.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, Tom.
I was just looking at Trey Larkin's comment. All right, so this is the single barrel.
Okay.
All
The
right.
8-year, 118 proof. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know if my camera got the focus in. Then we got the
can do it.
decade, the cognac finish rye.
Okay.
10-year, 122-ish proof.
Yeah, 122.4. That's what mine says.
All right. And then we got the 8-year bottled in bond.
Yep.
I can't tell if my camera's focused or not.
That's right. I can show. I can do my maple so you can see it, guys. It's the maple finish here.
There you go.
90 proof, 5-year. Then they've got the cool little sticker on the back.
Oh, yeah, you got the fancy stickers on mine on your sample. I didn't get those.
And then the cask strength single barrel bourbon we showed earlier, 118.8. You can see the color on that, pretty damn sharp. And then I've got the one that Tom was talking about, that cognac rye here.
Josh Fritz says, Tom, I've got an Ironfish maple finish cask strength, not my cup of tea. You know, Josh, I think, from what I remember, I think the cask strength stuff is sourced. They do something goofy at Ironfish, and I couldn't quite figure it out. But I remember thinking that the cask strength maple was pretty decent. I think I liked it better than I liked the 80 proofer, but it's not your cup of tea. I get it. It's okay, you say it's a store pick. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I like Ironfish, but as far as the local distilleries go, definitely not my favorite. You know, I like to support local, but they're not my number one. If you're picking up what I'm throwing down.
He actually started distilling in Florida, John said.
Oh, wow.
He said it was a store pick. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, and Top Jimmy said, yeah, if you can still find some of the Lawrenceburg distilling labels around Lexington if you look.
Here you go. Chris Ted says, I'm just talking to Greg by text. Ask him where the hell he is.
All right. No worries. We can do it again some other time. No worries.
Yeah. You're going to need to send us some more samples.
Yeah, he can send us 3 other ones.
Yeah, send us that Deep Purple hazmat. We go crazy.
The maple's nice. It's an easy sipper. It doesn't have a whole lot of action to it. But, I mean, it's 90 proof. It hits 90, maybe, or a little less. But, no, there's nothing wrong with it. If you want something just a little finished.
Yeah, I like this 8-year bottle and bond, but I'm going to still go back to the finished rye out of the 3 here and think that one sticks out.
Yeah, I'm going to pour.
For some reason, he did not have this in his calendar. No. You know what, Chris? I got, shit happens. So,
yeah, no
we're
worries.
not.
I'll get with you for this. We'll set something else up. Tell him not to worry about it. I'll holler at him. No worries at all.
I'll tell you what, I was looking forward to talking to him a little bit, but anytime I'm hanging out with Marty, I'm happy. It's a good time.
Yeah, we're cool, man. Don't worry about it, Chris. Tell him to just enjoy his evening, and I'll get in touch with him. No worries at all.
Mr. Mom, there he is. What's going on, buddy?
There he is. What's going on, brother? Yeah, I like that. You're right about that rye, man. That's solid.
Yeah. I would definitely put that one on my shelf. The other ones, I don't know. I'd have to think about them for the prices that I'm hearing. I don't have a problem with any of them.
No, I'm digging the single barrel just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fantastic. I think you could pick a hell of a winner off if you went out there and did a pick of these.
Well, did you see that right on their site? They've got a link that says private cask, private barrel program. So you can take a look at what they've got. So they're doing single barrel picks. I don't know that I've seen any. Not up here in Michigan anyway, but it looks like that's a direction that they're going. So you might see some of these soon.
Just finished dinner. Grabbed a pour of Eagle Rare. Attaboy. Sorry, remind me, what was the first bottle to try tonight? We did the single barrel.
It was single barrel bourbon that was that 8 years, Marty?
Yeah.
8-year cask strength. I think Jason C has done one. I don't know that he has. If he has, he hasn't released it yet. Do you know if Jason did a Larrikin pick?
I don't know if he has or not.
I don't. I'm both me and Marty are in Jason's Patreon. I don't know that I've seen one, Chris. Or maybe it's coming in the pipeline. I don't know.
He may have. I don't know.
But I'll tell you what,
if he
Jason
did, he may have done it quick on a Wednesday night when he does tries to do 3 or 4 openings, and I just don't remember. But he very well could have.
Okay.
For sure.
He has not dropped. What Chris is saying is that he's picked
not
one.
dropped.
So that'll be one to keep our eye on. And I've been saying this for a while. One of the reasons why I like the Mash and Journey Club is because they go all over, and they're not afraid to go into some of these places that are super obscure. And if something hits their palates, they'll put it out to the group. And that's how I've discovered a heck of a lot of distilleries over the last 2-3 years.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
if Jason said he did one, I'll definitely keep my eye on that one.
Okay. Where did I miss, Trey? Maybe we can do some thieving. Yeah, for sure. But no, that's part of the Bourbon Trail now, which is cool. And the walk-in humidor. You know what? I think it was on Instagram. If you go to their Instagram page, I think there's a video, and she takes the camera and walks you through everything. Yeah, Top Dog did. That's what the pictures he sent me.
All right, so Marty, when we were, kind of figuring that we were going to do this, interview or whatever, one of the things that I wanted to ask Greg about is, one about the rebrand, and then to me, as far as when I started hearing about this brand, it was about late last or early last fall, like about the time of the Kentucky Bourbon Fest, and I think for whatever reason, a handful of the bigger influencers that I see or follow on Instagram really kind of gravitated towards this brand, and that's how I started hearing about it. Was like
Okay.
from Brandon, Whiskey Weather, and a handful of these other bigger influencers
Yeah.
on Instagram. And since then, it's one of those brands. It's kind of been on my radar. So when we talked about getting samples, I was like, yeah, hook me up here. So yeah, I kind of wanted to ask him about that. If that's kind of when they changed the direction of their marketing, or whatever.
Let's see.
Chris says Greg is going to join if you got a link.
Yeah.
How long you want to go here?
I don't know if I can do it through Messenger, Tats. Let me see if I can figure it out here.
Chris, are you affiliated with the distillery down there? Or is Greg just a friend of yours?
Let me see. Sorry. You may show me pop in here. Let me see if I'm trying to see if I can copy this.
Todd Ritter, what's going on? I just started listening to your podcast.
I know what I can do. Hang on.
Joined your Facebook group to be a little bit more plugged into what you're doing. Trey Larkin says Corvette Trey would be cool. Thinking we're going to Jep the Creed too. So Trey, that's one of those brands that I've never tried. It seems people either really like it or really don't like it. Is that fair to say?
Yep. I've heard nothing but bad, but I've never had it, so I'm not going to say it is bad.
Yeah, I don't want
only
to
what
crap
I've
on
heard.
something that I've never tried. It, but as far as
Love it.
the returns is
Right there. Bradley, I think that's a great. Is it 99 proof? Is that what that comes in at? Something like that? Yeah, 99.
Bradley Shaw. What do you think of the Fox and Odin double? Marty's a big fan. I know that much.
I do. It won't knock you
I've
down
not
with
tried
a
it.
lot of oak. We are friends, but Greg, but looking to import his. Oh, okay. That's right. Cool.
Yeah, Greg seems like a great guy. So I definitely had some questions for him about the brand and what they're doing over there. And, after drinking through some of these samples, I mean, I think they're great. They're solid pours here. Ben Demon Hunter. So where's Larrikin Bourbon located? It's in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky,
Yep.
which Marty says is close to Wild Turkey. I looked it up on a map. It looks like it's about 20 minutes outside of Lexington.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I found it and reached out to them. I was leaving Wild Turkey to go back to the Blitz, and I was like, I've heard of that. And I made a note on my phone, and then when I got back home, I reached out, and I was pretty damn close then.
All right. So Chris says it's 500 yards down the road to Wild Turkey. All right. So those might be some distilleries that I check out this year then, because I've not been to Wild Turkey. All right, so Fritzy says Fox and Odin Double Oak is the best double oak on the market. All right, so that's a bold statement, Josh.
I like it. I'll say that. I don't know.
Someone just sent me a sample, so I'm going to get into it, Marty. But
yeah,
there's some really good double oak bourbons out there.
I don't think this is going to knock you down with oak, which is what a lot of people like about it. It's not going to overpower you with just that wood and viscous. It's got a lot of other things going, and it's 99 proof. It's not 120 plus.
All right, so Bradley Shaw says 13th Colony Double Oak tops everything. Dude,
wouldn't know.
100%. I'm with you there. I
I've
think
had it. I
it was
don't know
the
it.
23 13th Colony Double Oak was my bourbon of the year for 23. I couldn't get one last year, but it's insane. But as far as something that you can find, I know that Fox and Odin is on the shelves here in Michigan for 99 bucks. I think one of my favorites, Marty, and I think you've tried this as well, is the Hirsch Double
I've
Oaked,
got
which
one.
is I think it's a blend of Willet and something else. However, they're blending those double oaked picks that I've tried have been just really good. So that's hard to beat. Corvette Trey says, I'm a fan of the Peerless Double Oaked. Me too. That's another good one. I've not tried the what is it, a double oaked rye that they do, Marty?
Who's that?
Peerless.
Yeah, they do. They do a high rye. They do a double oak. They do a double oak bourbon. They what's the other? There's a couple more.
Yeah, I've not tried the double oaked rye. I've heard the double oaked rye. I've seen it here on the shelves in Michigan, but it's like 120 bucks, and I think that's state mint.
Hey, John.
Cheers, guys. Thank you for inviting me, Marty.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Sorry I'm a little late. Cheers,
No,
Tom.
we weren't sure what all was going to happen there for a while.
What's going on, Top Dog?
Not much at all. But I'm glad to be part of this stream. But a little late.
I like that one, Ben. I don't dislike Woodford Double Oaked at all.
All right, so Josh Fritz, 13th Colony, probably I've never seen, let alone be able to afford it. Yeah, it's a pricey bottle. Hey, Josh Fritz, I'll tell you what, next time you're going to go to one of those Evernorth events, hit me up, let me know you're going to be there. I'll get you a sample of the one that I've got.
One of my samples of the year was from Eric Gunderson was the Rebecca Creek Spanish Oak. That one, even though I only had a sample, it set a memory in my. I can still taste that one. It was so good.
Yeah, those Rebecca Creek double barrels were insane last year.
Yeah.
The Mashin Journey Pick was one of my top 10 bourbons of 2024. I think I tried a couple other picks, and they were all on par. That was an insane bourbon.
I've only heard amazing things about Rebecca Creek Spanish Oak. That's awesome. Yeah, and they're gone, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the thing. Once that was it, right?
Yeah,
I had the Peerless Double.
Oh, that was the thing with Jason's pick was Rebecca's last ride. That was the last one.
Yeah, some of those, that double rye and stuff's like still $145 around here. That Peerless, that's a lot.
Yeah, that the Peerless Double Oaked Rye I see on the shelves here. I want to say it's $114.99 or something, and
that's not terrible.
I just can't grab it.
That's one of them you want to try. I get it, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, again, if it was half that, I'll just grab it, but not at 114. You know what I mean?
Well, I think at 80, I would grab it all day.
Based on what I've heard, if it was $80,
yeah,
you're probably right.
Yeah,
I'd probably do the same. But again, you know, when I see it here, I think it's state minimum. It's 114, $15. Ben Demon Hunter, okie dokie, way too rich for my blood. Yeah, I hear you. I think it was hey Josh Fritz, riddle me this, buddy. Have you tried the Barrel Foundation double barrel yet? Now that's half the price of the Fox and Odin. I want to say it's the same proof point. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on how one compares to the other.
It's a good idea. I've got it downstairs. Nope. Okay.
All right, and I think those are just hitting here in Michigan.
I went to go grab my phone so I can see the live stream. I mean the chat. Don't make fun of me, guys. I'm drinking wine.
Oh, we're gonna make fun of you no matter what. You could have passed that off as like a double oaked something or other top.
Yeah, we wouldn't have known better.
It's dark. Thanks,
Yeah.
Marty.
Yeah. Jason C reviewed it today. Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
barrel.
I want to say I did one a couple of weeks ago. No, probably as many people watch Jason's in the first hour as watch mine altogether.
Sherry cask.
Yeah, there you go. But Josh Fritz, I mean that. Hit me up next time you're going to Evernorth for an event, and I'll get you some a sample of the 13th Colony. Got the taste of Woodford Double Double. Okay, brownie batter. Yeah, you know what, Josh? I hear it's great, but $200. I mean that just seems
That was
excessive.
$250 here.
$250? No,
Yeah.
The stores are promoting it at Statement here at $199.
No, that's not right. 200. It's 200.
200.
I'm sorry.
$200 for a Woodford, okay, mass produced, right? And at 90 proof, no age statement. Come on.
That's not the barrel proof one they put out, the
No.
139.
No, this one's just doubled.
Yeah, that's too
And
expensive.
it's the 90.4 proof point.
Yeah,
That's
you can
too
And it's in the
expensive.
bottle that it's in the 700 milliliter bottle.
Yeah, I'd pass.
That fucking burns my ass.
Yeah. Wine, eh? Well, then I'm sipping down bottle kill the
Instant.
Oh, wow.
You know, Deanston's one that I had read good things about, but I never got to when I was going through single malt scotch.
Peter B.
Yeah, not too many people like the wine in chat.
Yeah.
Cheers, Peter B.
Makes me spend 200 on. Yeah. I agree.
Woodford needs to drop their prices, and the barrel proof just sits on. Yeah, you know what? For a legacy brand, for them to put their only like barrel proof bottles out at $120 to $150, it doesn't sit right with me either.
I can't remember last time I poured a Woodford product.
You know, when I was first kind of getting into bourbon, John, I really liked the Woodford, and I liked the Woodford Rye. I thought they were good. You know, they were very good pours when I was first kind of getting into it, and they felt like they were okay. These are decent or premium even at $40. It was a splurge at the time, but I enjoyed those two bottles, their base rye and their base bourbon. But when you get into like their batch proof and it's $150, I mean, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Because I think I got bid on a couple of those, what do we call them, the Thor bottles that look like, the club or whatever.
The Thor's hammer? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I bought, I think, 2 of them when they first came out, and I wasn't excited about it. And like I said, maybe this weekend I have to revisit Woodford and see what they're all about.
I think I got the last Woodford batch proof that was in a 750 bottle. And then the next year they released it. They increased the price and they reduced the bottle size. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you.
What's up, okay? Yeah, I've got.
Sugar Kitty says Deanston is one of those grain forward type Highland scotches. Okay. I do hear good things about the Deanston 12U. Final evening double oak pour. That's good. Different. It's Garrison Brothers, Balmorella. Okay, so Josh, the only Garrison Brothers pours that I've had that I thought were any good were the Cowboy bourbons, and they were really good in my opinion. But anything else I had from Garrison Brothers, I thought was terrible, and that's to my palate.
No, I agree with you on that. I got talked into buying a bottle that you sample at the place, they hyped it up, but once I got it home, it was good, but it was way overpriced.
Well, all of their stuff is overpriced. I mean, even the Cowboy bourbons for what they are overpriced, but I mean, the 24 Cowboy was really good. And as far as trying to, maybe chase that flavor profile that's similar to the 13th Colony Double Oaked, that's kind of where the Cowboy bourbon for 2024 was coming in for me.
Close.
But here it was like $300,
Yeah, well,
I didn't want it that bad.
yeah.
Randall says the cowboy bourbon is hot. Yeah,
I'm trying to
the last
get
one
Greg
was for
on
sure.
here, so y'all just bear with me. The link I'm sending him goes to Streamlabs, but it makes him want to like sign up. So I just took the one I just sent to John, and it's
Which
still
worked.
asking him to sign up.
The one
It
you
didn't
sent to
ask
me
me
worked
to
fine,
sign up.
Marty.
What'd you say, John?
It didn't ask me for any information.
Yeah,
It
it
just told
should
me,
bring you straight here.
yeah, headphones and put my name in. That's it.
Cowboy and limousine oak.
It's not gonna let me do it.
21090. What's going on, Todd?
Isn't there another brand that has limousine oak? And I have no clue what it is.
Is it dancing
Yes, Dancing Goat.
goat?
Yeah, to Wisconsin.
And I think Marty's a big fan of the limousine rye.
Yeah, I love
Right,
it.
that-
I've not tried it.
That's probably where I heard it from then.
Yeah, I think it's
And I think he said it's like a $50 or $60 bottle, so it's like one of those ones that's a good value. Laguna Madre, maybe spelled it wrong. Yeah, I don't know, Josh, but for whatever it was with Garrison Brothers, everything to me tasted awful except Cowboy, and it was like night and day.
all right.
Share
That
the link
should do it,
quickly.
I think, Chris. Nothing can be easy. Sorry. What's up, Todd? I want to pour some more, but I don't want to if he doesn't come on or can't get it because I want to give a lot of this away.
All right, so Sugar Kitty, I like Deanston 12 organic or 15 organic, strong bourbon barrel grainy scotch. All right. You know, I think the Deanston 12 is the only one I think I see here in Michigan. I don't know if it's organic or not. I haven't really looked that close. Maybe it's a Deanston 10. I don't know. So, Marty, you going to review any Irish whiskeys for St. Patrick's Day?
Probably not. I don't want to make a fool out of myself on that.
You know, there's one I've got my eye on, and if I grab one, I'll post it obviously. But if I don't, I don't. I haven't bought an Irish whiskey in a while.
Hang on.
On St. Patrick's Day, the bourbon engineer usually sets me up with a blind between Irish, and he'll may throw a Scotch in there just to mess with me to see what I like.
All right. Well, yeah, Irish and Scotch kind of are on the same order for me.
Sorry, buddy.
But Irish, for a lot of the Irish I've tried just have been really bland.
I got to be in a mood. I can tell you that much. I don't go to it enough.
Yeah, I don't go. I think I got like out of however many bottles I've got here at home. I think one Irish is what I've got.
I did too. A red breast. That's it.
You know, I had a Redbreast 12. I didn't care for it, but I finished it. I think the only one I've got now is like a Sexton, and it's in that really fucking goofy hex bot. You know, I think it's a hexagon. It's the goofy bottle shape for Sexton, whatever the heck it is, but it's not very good.
Yeah, I get all my Irish and Scotch next door, anything I want, which is nice. And Gunderson too. If I sent the message to him, he's real
Eric
close.
will too.
Yeah, Eric will too. Send me a bunch of samples, which is nice.
Yeah, I was reaching out to Eric and Stacy a week or so ago. The local store here got some of that Bushmills. Oh hell, what's the name?
I think it's the Bushmills one. That's the
It's from the TV.
Tie-in with the TV show is the one that I want to get.
It's a bourbon finish, barrel finish.
Peaky Blinders or something.
That's it. Yeah,
that's the one I want to get. And I looked it up. It was like $30 or $40.
Yeah, it's $29 here.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
Mr. Mom, yeah, that's the one. The Bushmills Prohibition Peaky Blinders.
I may
That's the
need to
one I'm
grab
looking
that
for.
one. For Stacy and Eric said for the money, that's a really good pickup to have because I don't have any Bushmills. Everything I've got's Redbreast and a couple other little things. But
Yeah, see, I have a bit of a soft spot for Bushmills because that's what got me into whiskey was like that Bushmills. Like
I didn't know that.
whatever their base one is, that's like a $20 bottle.
There's a blue and a red, isn't there, John? Something like that. There's colored Bushmills, I think.
I'm not even sure. I know absolutely nothing about it.
So I think
Dancing Goat, Roger Reese, yeah.
you know, I look at like who's coming up on live streams, and I notice that like Stacy's got appearances on
Yeah, JG thinks
everybody's
that too,
channel.
Yes.
next week.
She's overbooked.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you know, I was like, oh, who should I book for a guest? I'm like, oh, maybe I'll reach out to Stacy. But then I see
Yep.
like she's got like everybody's channel booked. I'm like, you know what?
Yep.
Good for her.
You know what? We all ought to
like,
send her an email and see what she's doing on St. Patrick's Day. Hey, you want to come on live? You want to come on live?
Yeah, it's odd that she's not there.
Hey, buddy.
Hey,
guys.
Cheers. How are you?
Sorry about all the
Cheers.
mess up.
I'm
That's
really
the guy.
sorry. Thanks to our boy in Australia. This wasn't even in my calendar for some reason. That's entirely my fault. But now here we are. Sorry,
Yes.
I'm
Awesome.
so freaking late.
Thank you, Chris Tats.
well, we've
Yeah,
been talking
thanks
you up
for-
for the last
for-
hour, so it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Yep. I've had a really shit day, but I'm glad I'm here now.
Well, you're here with friends, with fellow whiskey nerds, and Marty and I have been sipping through some of your samples here, and you know we're, generally speaking we're big fans. We had some questions about some of the products and
Sure.
the origin of the distillery, but yeah, we've been sipping through without you, buddy.
Oh, you got that guy. Awesome. Well, fire away. That's hang on, what is that? Is that when you barreled yourself at? Oh, okay. So you're
Greg?
just showing me the Lawrenceburg Rosewater there.
Me and Renee were your very first barrel your own. Me and my
Damn,
wife.
that's right.
Yep. That was so.
Holy-
We spent 4 hours with you that afternoon.
Yeah, that was a blast. I remember that entirely. Well, you
Yeah.
know that bottle you've got there, that Rosewater bottle? You're
Yeah.
not hearing this from me because we're not announcing it yet, but we just bottled our very first batch of Larrikin Rosewater, which will hit the market
It
for
is-
the Kentucky Derby.
And like I said, all you guys are gonna love it. And the other one, don't ask me to pronounce it, and then I'll let Marty take over.
Oh, yeah, the jacaranda fruit or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, top dog, you got some deep cuts there.
He really, really does. Like, I don't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's
letting
awesome.
on. Yeah.
When we first met, I mean, he was running a little late. I went,
Oh,
took a little ride. We
right.
came back, and then we went. I think we spent 4 hours together, and I was supposed to go to dinner that night. And first thing we did was drive back to our room, and we had Uncrustables because we had so much fun and so much to drink that day. We were drinking some of the Kroger samples. I remember that you were just putting out.
Oh,
that
yeah,
next
they were
week.
good too.
Yeah, that was a fun experience. But I'm going to let these guys take over because they have all the questions. But I just wanted to say thank you for everything and be part of this. Definitely.
Thanks,
this
man. Well, you've got
experience.
stuff there that I don't have anymore and haven't had for some time. And yeah, that Rosewater barrel, if it goes as we expected, like we dumped out of that barrel that you sampled from today and we put it in the
Yep.
bottle.
Oh, wow.
We blended it. We've because there obviously wasn't enough for a thing there, but we put a really good 6-year-old, a couple of six. Actually, it's only one. We put a really nice 6-year-old, and then we brewed a little bit more. Pardon me.
It's
Rosewater tea and proofed it with that. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out.
I'm excited. Marty and Tom, I'll get you samples of it.
All right. Sounds
Awesome.
good,
Thanks,
man.
top dog.
That's awesome. Made my night.
These are.
See, you're amongst fans here, Greg.
Well, thank you, guys. I'm sorry I've been a little late to the party, but we'll make up for it. So hit me with whatever you got.
All right.
Typical scene groper. I don't know.
Jeez, tell you what,
I'm
I haven't
not
heard that word
understand
for a
the damn
long time. Nice shirt, by the way.
It is, isn't it?
Hey,
Yeah,
won't you run a comb through that hair before you jump on here? Good God.
I remember this.
I only just got out of the shower when you were trying.
I'm just messing.
Okay, I don't want to hear that.
I remember the first.
Hey, it's 10 in the morning over here. Remember, Greg?
Yes.
I remember the first time I met you, Greg, and the only thing I was thinking, I got to get a hold of Chris. I got to get a hold of Chris, and I was sending messages to a common friend of ours, Big Vic. I said, "You got to go there. You got to go there because of how much fun we had at your distillery. It was the best."
Awesome. Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
one thing that we kind of pride ourselves on at Larrikin is that, we're only little, but we have a really, really good team of folks, particularly all through our distillery, but our mainly gals, not all gals, but it's a really tight-knit team. They all hang out together. They all have a laugh together. Whenever we close, at the end of the day, we all sit there and have a pour and tell some fun stories about about our guests that day. And we're very lucky that we have just such a good group of folks, and they know their whiskey. But yeah, they're just wonderful. We're very, very lucky.
And you pass around the koozie.
I've got it right here, as a matter of fact. So 2 of those koozies are in DC, and one's here.
Nah.
So it is Larrikin and not Larrikin.
No, it's Larrikin.
Larrikin.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
It's Australian. You got to say Larrikin.
Larrikin. Yeah.
So Greg, one of the questions that we had for you is did you, when you started, did you acquire the distillery and then rebrand it?
No. So it's a bit of a funny story, but it's long, so I won't go into the whole thing. But when I retired from the military, I did a few different things, and
let me stop you there because it looked like Marty and I both did a little bit of homework, and it looks like did you serve both in the States and then also for Australia?
yeah. So I served in the Australian Navy for I don't know 10 or 11, 12 years, including here at the Pentagon as our attaché for sort of counterterrorism, information warfare, that sort of stuff. I was then kind of recruited by the U.S. Navy. I deployed a few times in that role with U.S. forces, and then was kind of recruited, I guess. I was retiring, and they said, look, you won't have to deploy again. You won't have to do any of this. We just want you to come and do some training with our guys and all that stuff. It's like, oh, well, that sounds like a pretty good deal. And so I got sworn in and did the whole thing and became a U.S. Navy officer. It took about a year. I was apparently the first person to do it. And they've probably never done it since, is my guess.
No.
But, I'd been in for about 4 months, and I was on a plane to Afghanistan because I was never going to deploy again. And I texted the admiral who became the Navy secretary under Donald Trump, a guy called Ken Braithwaite. I texted Ken and said, and I was like, or Admiral Braithwaite, I was like, sir, I'm on a plane to Afghanistan. And he's like, never trust an admiral. And I'm like, yeah, no shit.
God.
So, yeah, but it was great. I loved the military. I loved the Navy. They were two very different services. The US has bigger planes, ships, and bombs. And so it was pretty fun. Had a good time.
All right. So how do we get from the military to whiskey?
Yeah, that's a story in itself as well. But very long story short, I did a few things out of the military. I worked in private equity for a while as their sort of military whisperer. The company I worked for, called Monument Capital Group, did only defence and intelligence work. So I was the guy that went to the meetings and deciphered acronyms and things for those guys. But I had to wear a suit and tie every day, and that wasn't really my thing. Did a couple of other things. I was a licensed weapons broker for a while, but that got a bit hairy in Eastern Europe, so I stopped doing that.
Okay.
And then ended up in Kentucky, really for no reason.
Now when is this? What year about?
We've been in Kentucky about 6 years now, I guess.
Okay.
Something like that, and just liked it here. And I've been distilling off and on for the best part of a decade, probably more than that now, because it's interested me. And the kangaroos, baby, that's Larry the kangaroo.
Coming to Melbourne with us this weekend.
What's that?
They're coming to Melbourne.
Oh, awesome!
We're flying down to Melbourne in a couple of hours.
Love Melbourne. Favorite city.
And Lil says good to know that she won the thing on Instagram.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she's feisty.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Randall
that
says
was good.
Greg sounds like the Australian James Bond.
No, it was just right place, right time. There was lots of wars going on, so we jumped around a bit. But you get to Kentucky, and there's really only two things to do. One is horses, and one is bourbon.
There you go.
Shitless of horses, so I had to do the bourbon thing.
Okay. So when did you get involved, or when did you acquire? Because originally it was Lawrenceburg Distilling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we started Lawrenceburg. Like I'd been making some whiskey around the place, everywhere from Florida to different parts of Kentucky here.
Just dabbling, not like
not dabbling, but making a bit. I always had in the back of my mind that I'd make 50 barrels of this, 30 barrels of this, and sell it to a craft distillery in 4 years, kind of deal. Because I really had nothing else to do. So was doing that, and it kind of just took on a life of its own. I nearly went into partnership with a couple of guys, which thank goodness I dodged that bullet and didn't. And they went and started an NDP brand, and it wasn't a really good situation, and I got kind of miffed at them. And then I thought to myself, well, and I can remember saying it to Emily, who still works with me. I was like, well, if those idiots can do it, I can do it. So we're going to start our own brand, but we'll have our own whiskey. So that's what we did. And we started as Lawrenceburg Bourbon Company. We had a sorry, that's Betsy Ross, the Doberman. We had a small tasting room on Main Street in Lawrenceburg for about 2 years, maybe a year and a half. And people loved it. We sold out of our first 5 barrels in 24 hours of the single barrel. They were all single barrels. And, it's just sort of it's taken on a life of its own. And
all right, so here's what I want to know. So at some point, you decided to pivot from Lawrenceburg and maybe plug into your Australian background and rebrand, right?
Yep.
Was that just last year?
Yes, it was at Kentucky Bourbon Festival. So what's that? September?
Yeah, because I want to say
September
that's
when we were over. Yeah,
that's right. Yep, September.
That's when I first heard of your brand was people that I'm friends with on Instagram. They were at the Kentucky Bourbon Fest, and they're Larrikin. I'm like, who in the hell is Larrikin?
Yeah.
So that, at least to me, is when it really seemed to be getting a lot of traction right away at that Kentucky Bourbon Fest. So that is right when you made the pivot, then, right?
Yeah, you're 100% right, Tom.
So
I mean, we made that.
Did you make that change? What was the rationale?
Again, we're small, and Larrikinism, kind of means you don't do anything conventionally. You sort of go your own way, ask for forgiveness afterwards, and if it doesn't work well, you deal with it at that time.
And also the great Australian tradition of taking the piss.
and taking the piss. Yeah, and that's a whole other show we could talk about.
Well, I will say that, as a consumer, when I hear Lawrenceburg Distilling Company, it sounds very generic, doesn't really stick out, and maybe it's overlooked because again, it doesn't necessarily pop. Okay?
Right.
But when I hear Larrikin, the first thing I want to say is like, well, what does that mean? How do you say this? What is it?
Right.
And then I'm seeing kangaroos and huge Instagram influencers, saying that this is the best stuff that they've had. And,
yeah, well, it was, we to change it. There was no more. This sounds really bad, but it's 100% true. There was 4 of us, including my wife Katie and Emily, that works with us, and there was someone else. And I'm like, I just said, you know what, Lawrenceburg. There you go. Lawrenceburg doesn't mean any. Like, it's a great town. There's a lot of bourbon history there, but it doesn't mean anything to us.
Okay, it attracts
no. It wasn't who we are, and who we are Larrikins, and Larrikins, as I said, are unconventional. The best way to describe a Larrikin in the US, or the best word, would be a maverick.
Yeah, so, and that's what Google says, by the way, because I looked it up before.
Oh, really?
The street. Yes, exactly. That's the one word descriptor is maverick. Right. And then it listed Johnny Cash, Crocodile Dundee, or whatever.
Yeah, and that's
this something, but a maverick was the closest translation.
So our spirit animal is literally Steve Irwin. He's like the ultimate Australian larrikin.
Okay,
did his own things. So I was in Katie and I were in Los Angeles at, I think it was called the G'day LA Awards or something, and we were getting I was getting a thing for my work, and this thing was just full of all the A-lister celebrities that were from Australia that you've ever heard of. Some you guys have never heard of, but I'm talking like Eric Banner and Olivia Newton-John, and all these people are there. So I'm sitting at a table. This is noble.
I'm old enough to know who Olivia Newton-John is.
I know. Well, I'm sitting at a table. Katie and I are sitting at a table. We've got John Travolta and Kelly Preston on one side.
Oh, wow.
We've got Olivia Newton-John. She was there by herself on the other side. And then the chairman of Qantas and I don't know if I have the ambassador at the table, whatever. But I had Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta at my table, like talking to us, just chatting away. It was amazing. So there's all these huge A-list celebrities at this thing. It's a black tie and everything. Steve Irwin rocks in late, like really late. He's in his khaki short sleeve shirt, shorts, boots. He had a moon boot on his foot, and all of these like Sacha Baron Cohen was there, and all these people, all of these big ass celebrities. All they wanted to do was go and talk to Steve Irwin. And I was the only person there in uniform, so he took a lot of time to come and talk to Katie and I, which was awesome. And that was just what he was like. And we spent that whole evening with him and his manager, and it was just a wonderful night. And when he died, I would liken it to when President Kennedy was assassinated. It hit Australia that hard.
Like, was that big? Okay.
Yeah, I was in DC, at the embassy at that time, and my mom.
He was definitely big here in the States, but I can only imagine.
Just
a lot of people just didn't believe it when he died, and we heard it here. A lot of people just said, "No, that's made up."
Yeah, it was like Princess Diana or JFK died.
Yeah,
right.
My mom called me in the middle of the night, US time, in DC, and they were like crying. They wouldn't call me if my grandfather died in the middle of the night. So it was a huge thing. Just huge. So that's a long way of saying, we did that. We rebranded Larrikin because that's who we are, and that's how we identify, and that's how we work. And we just don't do things the same as everybody else.
And then, and yeah, like the other thing was, yeah, just the impact you've had, it seems, on like, especially the Instagram community. I mean, your brand is all over the place. So I don't know, how that really came to be. It sounds like the Kentucky Bourbon Fest is where it took off, but
It is, Tom. That's exactly where it started. People, we launched, we rebranded, but that was, whatever. But
so some of the questions, Greg, that we were getting while we were sipping through some of the samples here is now we know about the cognac finished rye. We know that is sourced from Alberta.
Alberta, Canada,
But and that's the only rye I think that we saw in your portfolio, right?
Yeah, we have a high wheat rye, which is 65% rye, 35% wheat. That's pretty limited. So, we only made, 22 barrels of that made it through. So I think we've got about half a dozen barrels left. So that's really become like an allocated product in Kentucky. You won't really see that anywhere else.
So the question was,
that is so good.
We know you're sourcing for the cognac finish rye, the decade product. But how about the bourbons? Is that the stuff that you guys are distilling?
Yeah, so we have a bit of a hybrid model at Larrikin, and it was born out of being pretty new and having limited stock of our own. Okay. So we and the hybrid model is we distill some of our own and some of it's ours. We don't blend very much. We've contract distilled over the last 6 years, which has gone really well for us, and we're really seeing the fruits of that now. And we have sourced some product, but that was early on. Primarily the high wheat rye, like our bottled in bond, which is what launched us at. I think it's close to our best staple product. That's a contract distilled product, which we did with Sazerac. And one thing we do at Larrikin is, if we didn't make it, we put on the label who did or where it's from. And
you want to have that transparency.
We try to, and sometimes if you've done a source or a contract distill, you're not allowed to, and so
there's non-disclosure agreements and things like that. Okay,
but we haven't really struck that so much. Like, for instance, the decade rye, we can't say what distillery did it, but we obviously say that we had it. We sourced that. We didn't contract.
Well, I think Breaking Bourbon might have let the cat out of the bag. I don't know if you saw their review. I think it was just within the last few days. Might have.
I love these.
Oh yeah, that tells you everything about what's going on in the bottle.
All right, so that's cool. So we were just looking at the sample bottles that we've got, and as far as the samples that Marty and I had, I think the first thing that we noticed, Greg, was the age on these things.
Yeah,
I mean, I've got like an 8, a 10, and an 8, and then I think Marty had like an 8, a 10, and maybe a 5 or something. So these have some good age statements on them for sure.
Yeah, so most of the single barrels that we'll put out are ours. They're not going to last forever. I've got to be super honest. At 8 years, we do have a high rye bourbon coming out in the next couple of months, which is just fantastic, and I'm super excited for it. That was we contract distilled that guy. And that'll come out at a 7 or 8. It might be 8. Might have ticked over to 8 years when we release it. One thing though, Tom, we do at Larrikin is with our single barrels. People go into Liquor Barn or Total Wine or whatever, and they're like, "Well, I saw your single barrel. There was a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Mm-hmm. Right? How about the 8-year-old?
Yeah. My deal is when the barrel's ready to go in the bottle, we put it in the bottle. I don't care if it's fives. Well, we did do a couple of 5-year-old single barrels. One of them won a butt ton of awards as a 5-year-old. But if we find a 6-year-old that's ready to go in the barrel, go in the bottle, we're going to bottle it and put it out as a single barrel.
Yeah, when it's ready, it's ready, right?
Right. And Brent Elliott at Four Roses told me that. We live right by Four Roses, and I know Brent pretty well. And I took over the 5-year-old telling you about, and I was like, dude, do I know? It was 4 years at the time, and I was like, this is too young to bottle, right? And he tried it, and he goes, no, when it's ready, it's ready. And
Right.
I've remembered that forever now, and it's right.
Yeah, I mean, because there's Texas whiskey that I've had at 2 years, and it tastes
John.
fantastic. So, yeah, I mean, it's
6 years.
not necessarily just the
I see
math.
it
It's
now.
when
Yeah.
it hits, it hits.
It's 100% true. Like that 5-year-old I was telling you about that won all those awards. Like it won awards all over the place, and it was a 5-year-old whiskey up against anything that was up to 10 years old. It was just good, and it was only just 5. It had just ticked over being over 4, and it was just terrific whiskey. And when it's and he said to me, it might get better, it might change, but it's not what you've just tasted now. And if you think it's right, you've got to go.
Excuse me.
So we spent a bit of time earlier, Greg, going through your site and looking at the core range of products available. So it looks like there's about 8 different whiskeys, I guess.
7 or 8,
bourbon cream.
Yep.
So I assume that most of these are available on site at your distillery.
Oh yeah, everything that's on the website is available at the distillery.
Okay, so say a whiskey nerd like Top Dog or Marty or
Any of
myself,
us, yeah.
heads over to Larrikin, and we haven't tried anything yet. So what are you going to start us out with? What direction are you going to steer us in to say, hey, here's where you want to start exploring our product?
Yeah, I'm with you.
And I lived that experience, Tom, the first time I went in there. So,
you did. Tell us.
Yeah.
Actually, Top Dog, tell us about it.
Hey,
while
John, tell us all about it, John. Go ahead.
While I get a whiskey.
I don't want to talk too much, but I mean, we went in there, we went to the back, Greg came, introduced himself, and then he says, well, we're going to start off is with this single barrel, which is the 6-year thing. And he said the same thing. When it's ready, it's ready. And he said, this is the base for a lot of our bourbons. And he says, I want you to try it. And then, he had us trying all these things, but we loved this high rye wheat that he kept going to. And we couldn't leave without that. I mean, it was just, everything we had was just so good. I mean, it was just incredible when we went there.
So John, you've been to a lot of distilleries, right?
Yes.
So,
But the experience when we went there was one-on-one with Greg, undivided attention. We had him for a whole afternoon. And I think
Bored out of his mind.
and I think that morning is when I spent my first time with Jimmy Russell. And I came back telling him, and he kept telling me the stories. Like when I go into a diner, if I'm with somebody, Jimmy doesn't know me. If I'm by myself, he knows me. He told me, I mean, we spent so much time.
He's the nicest man on the planet.
Yeah.
Love Jimmy and Joretta.
Yeah. And same thing. It was the same thing when we went just up the street and turned in the parking lot. It was the same experience, but a lot younger guy. It was just a great. We loved it there. That's all I got to say.
I want to ask Greg something real quick. It kind of goes along with what Top Dog's talking about with the experience and the questions that Tom's asking about the whiskey. But now that you're on the bourbon trail, and one of the things I thought was really, really cool that I was talking to one of your past employees about was the cigar humidor.
Yeah.
That's a unique experience. And
Yeah,
a lot
so
of us
we
are
have-
cigar heads, and knowing that that's there, and you can roll in and do that, and you can spend now you can hang
Yeah.
out for several hours You know.
Yeah, so we have the only walk-in humidor on the Bourbon Trail, and we have my guy that does our cigars is the only certified cigar sommelier or whatever they call him in the state of Kentucky, and we have a really good selection. We get our own made in Miami from Cuban seed, and the guy that rolls them, he's probably really only 60 in his 60s, but he looks like he's 125.
Like John.
Yeah, well, we rock on down there, and you literally sit in his barn thing, and you drink rum, and he drinks rum, and he just sits there rolling cigars literally for 10 hours or 8 hours.
It doesn't sound like a bad gig.
We're actually going back down in a couple of weeks. Yeah, you should come with.
And Marty, what Greg didn't tell you is when all the distilleries close, he is still open.
Yeah.
And everybody goes in. That is the happening place afterwards. I mean, it'll go to standing room only once every place closes because everybody's going there. You know, it's mostly all the employees from the other distillers.
That's the great. So we really zone in on. Thanks for mentioning that. On Sundays, everyone else closes at like 3 or 4, and we stay open till 6. And it's really to allow the, because we got 4 Roses and Wild Turkey, spitting distance from us. So Wild Turkey is literally next door. So we get the tasting room staff, the guys are working in the back, and they just come in and have a couple of drinks and they talk about their day and we all chat. I kind of feel like sometimes when there's guests in, that are on the trail or whatever, they're like kind of left out a little bit because we're all like doing bourbon stuff. But it's wonderful. It's a wonderful part of our week. I always look forward to it.
All right, so Top Dog says we start with single barrels. Where would you steer us?
So if you were to come into the distillery and do a flight of tasting, we would get you started on our small batch, which is our lowest proof. It's an 80 proof 5-barrel blend, and that's super consistent all the time.
Okay, and I see that on your site. It's got an orangish label.
Yeah. And that's
you'll
see that. Yeah, a lot of bars use that as the one thing. So I didn't want to make it because it was an 80 proof, because I was being like the whole high proof snob guy.
But don't you have to have something lower proof in your portfolio for
as it
like
turns
the
out,
beginner?
Tom, yes. But I still didn't want to do it. But my wife forced me to.
Okay. So is this a product that you sell like with some distribution, or is this just available?
Oh yeah, no, it's our biggest selling big box product now.
Okay, so Greg, help me out. What is the small batch retail for?
Depends, around $50.
Okay, and that seems about what I would expect.
Well, it's a small batch. So when we blended this, it was. I would only agree to do it if it still tasted like bourbon. Right? So there's so many low-proof whiskeys out there, in my opinion, that they're fine, right? They're probably good whiskey, but they don't actually still taste like bourbon's meant to taste.
Yeah, it's not the same experience as 118 proof, 10-year bourbon.
And our small batch isn't 120 proof, 118 proof either, but it still does taste like bourbon.
When you say small batch, Greg, in your brain, in your eyes, and your thinking, is small batch a set number of barrels?
5.
Or 5 total?
Yeah.
Now that seems.
You know what? Let me say this. That might be the first human I've ever had on here that has given me a number for small batch.
Yeah,
really?
Because small batch used to be
like
a
Marty.
shitty marketing term that people would just use, and you didn't know. It could be 200 barrels. But they're calling it small batch.
2,000 barrels.
Yeah, it could be whatever you want it. But when he says 5, that's
we don't make anything with more than 5 barrels. We haven't so far. Not to say we won't, but we haven't.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're saying what it is, because that's cool.
Well, at the end of the day, people kind of know I don't really know what I'm doing. We just have to be transparent about it, So that's what we try and do. Our rosewater barrel that we did today, we didn't know whether we were going to put 1, 2, 3 barrels in there because we didn't want it to taste like syrupy rosewater, but we wanted it to taste like whiskey with that little hint of rosewater. All
right,
no one's ever done it before.
So
and
let's back up there, Greg, for a second. What do you mean by rosewater finish? Okay. Is this a finish or is something you're adding to the distillate?
No. So I think, and I don't know this for sure, but I think we're the first people to do this. We took to the TTB and said, look, we want to proof our whiskey with water that we've brewed at the distillery using rose petals. Okay. So what we did, and it's pretty basic, we literally get 5-gallon pot, put it on the stove, bring it to the boil, get a big muslin bag full of rose petals, and we put it in there like you're making a cup of tea. And
okay, so I have actually heard of that before. There's a product that I think Few Spirits put out.
I love Paul.
Where they proofed their whiskey down with tea. That was it was the collaboration with the Smashing Pumpkins. So it was like the Madam.
Yeah, because the wife of Smashing Pumpkins guy has a tea company or something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So Paul Helke is the founder of Few, and he's a genius. He was the guy at the American Craft Spirits Association conference like 3 or 4 years ago. We got to talking just at the bar, and I told him what I was trying to do and all this sort of stuff. And he just looked at me and he was like, Greg, you've got 2 options. You can do this as a hobby, or you can do it as a business. You can't do both, and you have to make that decision. And it's the most prescient thing anybody in the industry has ever said to me. And I remember it, and I tell everybody that's starting out the exact same thing because it's 100% true. And at that point was when I was like, okay, we've got to jump on this. And if we're going to do it, we're going to do it, balls to the wall. I'm not doing it to sell, within 10 miles of the distillery kind of deal. So that's what we did. And that was Paul Helke from Few Spirits.
Yeah, I listened to him on a podcast, and that dude's out there. He's hardcore.
Paul's like super great. He's just a super good guy.
So this is something that we can look for at the distillery, or something that you might be.
Well, no, we're going to distribute the Rosewater. Their Kroger stores here in Kentucky.
Oh wow! Yeah, it's a big grocery store chain.
Yeah, so they're also the sponsor, or whatever you want to call it, of the the blanket that goes over the horse with all the winner of the Kentucky Derby with all the roses and all that sort of stuff on it. And so they're very invested in that, and so they're going to kind of launch, I guess, Larrikin Rosewater into Kroger stores for the Kentucky Derby. And that'll be the first place you'll be at, plus the distillery where you'll be able to get it. Now, this is another little piece which you guys are the first to hear. We're actually going to get a whole bunch of rose petals from that Kentucky Derby blanket when they're doing it, the ones that fall off and everything. Wow. And we're going to put them into a blend for next year, into our batch.
See, always got to be innovating, right?
Well, you do. And, I'm not... that wasn't my idea, but it was.
Hey, we didn't know that. You totally could have took credit for that.
Yeah, no. Well, no, because they probably watched it. So, but it's that kind of stuff that's just fun, and you can do when you're a small distillery, because we need to get a garbage bag full of petals, and we can make a whole batch with it. And I just like that sort of thing. It's the Larrikin way. You do it and see what happens, and. The Rosewater might be the biggest, flop in the history of man. But
it might be huge. It might be a total flop. I guess you won't know, right?
It's not a flop.
I can tell you right now.
Oh yeah, you've got some.
Yeah, I got the OG. It's good.
You do have the OG.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg, Randall's got a question. You got any limited edition stuff? I think that's what he's asking.
We do. Our most recent limited edition was called Deep Purple. It was a single. There was 2 single barrels. They were hazmats. One was 142 and a bit, and one was 144 and a bit. And in 2 years since we've been bottling on this site, they're the only 2 barrels we've come across like that. And so I didn't know what to do with them, so I put them aside. And then I think the Deep Purple is on the website.
It is. We looked at it first thing.
You were looking at that.
Yeah, they sold out in fact, we had an order come in we didn't sell them we did to start with to retailers, and then one of the retailers didn't take their order, so we had a bunch more come on the market, and those sold out in a weekend. We didn't.
So those are long gone.
Yeah, we have. It's funny. There was one guy we forgot we'd sold a bottle to. He's one of our, he's a big supporter of ours, and he had bought a bottle. And of course, we didn't have any left except the one bottle sitting in my office.
Oh no!
So he got the one bottle sitting in my office. So
Wow.
I don't have any, but that's one of those ones that when the barrel pops up, and we had 2 barrels like that in 2 years, so we might not see another one. Because one thing we do at Larrikin is I won't put anything into a bottle that it can have great mouthfeel and can be spicy and warm and hot, but when it goes down your throat, I never want it to burn. That's our little thing. And even at 144 proof, it's not going to burn when it goes down your throat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the ones that we tasted through, I think the highest proof one, Marty, was the rye, right? The Decade.
Yeah.
And
the single barrel's 118 and the rye was 122.
yeah, I would not say that was Bernie. In fact, Greg, that was the consensus favorite of
The
ours.
Decade.
It was the Decade.
We feel like we're 100% on board with that.
Yeah, we both agreed that it would be a bottle that we would want on our show.
Is that something you can keep producing, Greg, or is this kind of a
No,
intro,
that will.
or
Yeah, the only reason we and again in full transparency. So I mentioned earlier, we ran out of all my single barrels in a few days. So I just launched my Lawrenceburg bourbon at the time, and all of a sudden we had no whiskey, and because I thought that would be 6 months worth of bourbon, right? And then a friend of mine, Richard, now I can't remember Richard's last name, but he's a big NDP producer. He lives in Napa, but Bibb and Tucker and those sort of brands, that's him. Anyhow, I called Richard and said, Jesus, what am I going to do? And he goes, well, I've got this 10-year-old Canadian rye, and it's fantastic. I'm like, Richard, I have no interest in 10-year-old Canadian rye. We're a Kentucky distillery. Anyhow, so he sent me some samples. I'm like, this is so great. And so I bought all of it. And that's what it is.
And that was one of the things that we talked about earlier. Is it looks like Breaking Bourbon, which is one of the bigger, bourbon review sites, just has you guys up there now for the Decade. And to me, it's something that reminds me of a Found North type of blend.
Yeah.
Obviously it's got the Canadian backbone. It's got a finish to it, but it's just so dang good for, the proof point, what it is. It just hits. It was a really well put together product. And like I said, that was our consensus favorite of the samples that you sent.
Thank you. So the what you would have been if you were drinking the Decade now, they were 5 barrels, and funnily enough, they weren't hard to. Yeah, there you go. They weren't hard to blend because the consistency was extraordinary through all of them. So we were able to pretty much just dump that 5 barrels, dump the next 5 barrels, and they were. When I first tried it, because I'm a very unsophisticated palate, I was like, this tastes like dirt in a good way. I liked it a lot. And people are like, no, it's not dirt, it's earthy. I'm like, well, that's fine, but it tastes like dirt to me.
That's what Marty was picking up on. He said earthy a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was so much more than that.
It is. It's just, that's just the first thing that just smacked me in the face.
And sometimes with rye, that is one of the notes that people, gravitate towards. It's a little bit earthy, but there's a lot more that rye can be than just that.
Look, I wasn't a rye drinker before not that I was opposed to it, but it just wasn't something I really experienced until I started doing this. And now if you find a good rye, it's remarkable. It's so much more complex. It's got so much more going on. It's rawer, it's more base, and I think it's really good.
To my opinion, as a consumer, and Marty, you can maybe back me up on this, I think that rye tends to take a finish maybe better than a lot of bourbon does. Like a really good finished rye does seem to hit on a different level than a finished bourbon.
Well, you're getting that leather tobacco more consistently for me in a rye.
Yeah.
On stuff, and that's a hitter for me. Those two notes all the time. So, when you can pull that, and then if you do have a little bit of an age to it, it gets thicker, more viscosity on you, if that's your gig. So, yeah, probably the last 2 years I've fell in love with rye. I mean, I'm looking over here and I see like 8 of them. Limousine, Nulu, other stuff, Old Forester, High West, Old Scout. Just
I love the Old Scout rye. I think that's really good.
Yeah, I'll have to bring you over one of mine, Marty, which we did at Limestone back in 2018.
Oh, wow.
Limestone Branch with Steve. Oh, guys, I've got to drop off because I've got to head out to the airport, fly to Melbourne in about an hour. So,
all right,
give me
buddy.
a
Safe
love
travels.
Good seeing you, Chris.
Thank
Safe
you for
travels,
taking
my
care
friend.
of everything.
Thanks for getting
for helping us out here tonight.
well, it's good to see that I can do IT support from over here for you still, Greg.
That's right.
Well,
My love to Lil.
we need a IT guy, so maybe you can come and work with us.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
kidding.
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem at all.
Go and have a great coffee in Melbourne. It's the greatest city in Australia, I think, and
Well-
you'll have a great time.
We're actually catching up with John Schutt from Michter's because he's
Get out of town. Yeah.
Yeah, he's over. So we're catching up with him down there for the next 3 days.
Well, hopefully we'll get big enough some point where I can go and do goodwill tours like that.
Oh, we asked.
Keep putting out the Dringer barrels. People will.
I'm still out to talk
Their
to you
brand
about
up.
getting your stuff over. So,
Yeah.
just all my my funds, which I was going to use for bringing stuff over, sort of got taken up with having to buy a new car. So,
Got to do what you got to do. Just find me a distributor up there, will you?
yeah, well, that's what we're going to do for you. So,
Yeah, because I want to bring Larrikin to Australia just so I can claim my trips home on tax.
well, that's it.
It kinda seems like
That's
that's
why I
a
was out to try and get some.
logical,
I was out to try and bring some over, but the Australian dollar took a big nosedive just after
Dude,
we
I
got
was just
back.
there in January, as you know,
Yeah,
and everything was like cheap. Well, Perth's not cheap. Where we were, it's not, well, Australia's not cheap, but it was great. I was saving like 30% on everything.
yeah, yeah. For you,
Yeah, I mean that seems like the logical market you need to be in, right?
Yeah, we do. And, Australia's not a big bourbon market yet. I think it's getting there. And I would love to bring a bit of Larrikin to... Oh, we're going into a bar there's a bar in New York called Good Mates. It's brand new. It's like all the hoi polloi and all that sort of stuff, but it's an Australian-themed bar. And it's like, Chris, it's like a RSL. They've decked it out.
cool.
RSL, right down the sticky carpets. So
Really?
they have stuff on the carpet, so it makes it feel like your feet are sticking
Yep.
to the carpet, like in Australian front bars.
Sensational.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And they're bringing Larrikin in, and they're also going to bring in our Fat Wombat gins. So we're pretty excited about that.
Oh, there you
Wow.
go.
Actually, I'll have to tee you up with Bill Thomas from Jack Rose too to get some of your product in Jack Rose.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice. That's a great bar.
Because Bill
right.
Bill and I are really good friends, so we'll sort something out there. I'll organise a hookup.
Well, if you miss your plane, I'm not explaining it to your wife.
I just won't take clothes. It's all good. It's Melbourne. You mean you got to dress for 5 weather patterns in a day anyway. So
Melbourne's the greatest city. I wish I was going with you.
Hey, Greg, have a good one. Glad I could get
Chris.
you
Thanks,
on.
brother.
Chris,
Marty,
again,
Tom,
buddy.
Top Dog.
Cheers.
Love to live.
Cheers, Chris.
No worries, guys. Take it easy. I'll be in chat.
That's awesome. Yeah, he kind of saved the day, Marty. I mean,
Yeah,
you
he
might
did.
say, right?
Yeah. You know what? After Greg said, I looked at my calendar, and the first show that we were supposed to do last week, I had him a calendar invite. And then when I rescheduled this when I was out of town and didn't think about the calendar invite, so it's 100% on me.
No, it's
Because I knew it. I told Tom, I've gone through the email. I said, I don't know what I've done wrong, but now I do. So I apologize to everybody.
Oh, that's good. So
Worst case scenario, Greg didn't make it. You and I were talking about the brand. We're drinking through some samples. We're having a
We
good
did.
time. And,
We kept trucking.
we were engaged. It's cool. And then the fact that this dude, Chris, was in chat, and he was like, oh, yeah, I'm texting Greg right now. We're like, oh.
I'll do.
Well, get him on.
What are you talking about? And then I sent him a screen. Like, I've never been on this platform, this Talk Studio before, Streamlabs, whatever it's called. And I was like, I'm in it. And I sent him a picture of it. He's like, oh my God, he was like, he didn't say it, but he's like, you're a moron.
Well,
he
Greg,
says that to me all the time.
I think it's something that you're gonna want to pay more attention to because, like I said, I mean, where I'm seeing the brand a lot is on Instagram, and I think where a lot of us, YouTube people kind of congregate is on Instagram, and we kind of move it over here to try to do live streams and stuff like that. So, as you're trying to grow the brand a little bit, get the word out there, I think it's a good platform to be a little bit familiar with.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I like it a lot, and it's so easy to use. It's crazy.
Yeah,
my question.
Go ahead, Tom.
Go ahead, John.
My question is: you talked about hiring, an IT director, but on National Women's Day, you announced a big thing on Instagram.
We did.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to talk about
I would
that.
love to. Yeah. So it's sort of flown under the radar. You know what? I just realized I could expand this screen, so now you guys are much bigger. I just did that.
I don't know if that's good or not, Greg.
Yeah, I'm unsure, but it makes it easier. But it was good that it wasn't while Chris was on, so that was handy.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're super excited that Barbara McDonald has joined Larrikin as our lead distiller. Barb most recently was the lead distiller at Law's Whiskey House in Colorado. She was there since the get-go and was responsible largely for building out all of their stills and their distilling. She's a mechanical engineer by education and trade originally, and she is fantastic. And the crazy thing is, we're based in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. She is a Lawrenceburg native. Her parents live a mile from the distillery. She hasn't lived in Lawrenceburg for 15 years, but has lived in Denver and I think Nashville. But she's an amazing distiller. Like, she's come in like a whirlwind, and I'm like, okay, well, that's just how we were doing it. And she's not judging us too badly, but she's kind of judging me a bit. But, I didn't know what we were doing, so we just did it as we were doing it. Now she's bringing the next level of professionalism to Larrikin and our distillery operation. And, we're building out a bigger, we got rid of a couple of our smaller stills, and now we're going to a 500 and a 650 gallon pot stills and all this sort of stuff. and Barb's doing all that for us and streamlining everything. And yeah, we couldn't be more excited. But even though we're sort of ramping that up, we're still doing. We still have our 50-gallon still called Adelaide, which is South Australia, that we do a lot of our white spirits on, and we also experiment with things on. It's a beautiful little 50-gallon pot still. And you know what? If I screw it up, it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
There you go.
50 gallons, I can use it to wash out my tanks.
Yeah. Take your notes and try again.
Right. And
Hand sanitizer.
look, I made a high wheat bourbon when I made the high wheat rye. I don't know what I did to screw it up because I did them pretty much at the same time. It was so bad and stunk so much. It didn't go past a year and a half. And I was like, well, this is, sort of COVID-ish, well, kind of post. Well, I thought we can turn this into hand sanitizer and give it to hospitals. You couldn't.
There you go.
We had to get rid of it. It was awful. Fortunately, there was only
They
about...
didn't even want it.
No, dude, you couldn't. You put it on your hands, you'd be like stinking like a toilet.
It stinks.
I don't know what I did to it, but it didn't work. But it was in the same time I did that high wheat rye, which is the best thing we've ever made.
I mean, if you're experimenting, you're not a pro. There's going to be some trial and error. So
I was YouTubing that when I made that.
Hey, there you go.
It goes back to my next question that you didn't hit on. Distilled in Florida.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So
So
that
I
was
was-
the next thing.
Yeah, so I was down at there's a little military base called SOCOM down in Tampa, and I was down there at the time, and a friend of a friend had a rum distillery which is long closed, but that's where that all got made. So
It's
Hey,
good.
Hey, Greg, Top Jimmy's talking about coming to the distillery. Can you give a quick shout out of the hours that the
Yeah, of
tasting
course.
room and the bottle shop and everything's open?
Yeah, so right now we're still on winter hours, but that's going to change. It was meant to change on daylight savings, but I didn't know when daylight savings was. So in the next week or so, we'll be open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 till 6, and then Sunday, because we can't open till midday, noon till 6. So basically 10 till 6, except Sundays when we open at 12. Right now we close at 5 with our winter hours, but that's about to end in the next couple of
Same
days.
days?
Yeah, Sunday 12 till 6.
Okay.
Pretty
So you-
decent hours.
Yeah, well, we close on Mondays. We close for a couple of weeks in January because it's just cold and we need
Dead.
time to clean and do all the stuff. The distillery part's still running, but the tasting room and stuff isn't. And then we have our winter hours where we only open Thursday through Saturday for a month. But we like to be open, and we want people don't know who we are. So if they're at Wild, so this is the great thing about this industry is the guys at Wild Turkey, that everyone from the tour guides to the people working in the bar to Jimmy Russell himself send people to us every day. Same at Four Roses. They send people to us every day. There's a small distillery in Frankfurt called J. Mattingly, who makes their blenders mainly, but they make some fantastic whiskey. And we always send people. We had a group of like 8 super nice people from Iowa in our distillery. And they were like, well, we've got time to go one more place and we're staying, wherever. I was like, look, we could go here. I said, no, don't do that. Go to J. Mattingly. They're down there. I'll text Aaron. He'll look after you when you get there. And they bumped into one of our regulars. They went to a church in Lexington on the Sunday, and they were talking about Larrikin and J. Mattingly. And that's what it's all about from my perspective. But
Yeah, so it's really wild how the word spreads. So let's ask you this. So what do you have coming up? Okay, so we talked about the Rosewater release that you mentioned. What other events or milestones or products can we look forward to from your brand for this year?
yeah, that's a good question. That's sort of a moving feast because we sort of go on the fly a little bit. But you'll see one thing we are doing this year, and it's not bourbon, but we're leaning into our gin. Like in Australia, gin's like the thing. So
Is it?
here,
Okay.
yeah, if you go into Total Wine or Liquor Barn or whatever here in Kentucky, there's a whole row of bourbon and whiskey. You go to the equivalent store, like Liquor Barn in Australia, it's this like 2 rows of gin. And so we're going to lean into that a little bit, but Australian style gin, which is a bit newer and fresher and not as clunky. On the bourbon front, we're doing a few little things from a retail perspective. We just introduced minis, like the little airplane bottles for our bourbon cream and our small batch, and they're going great. The bourbon cream, people come in and go, oh, we always buy the bourbon cream little minis because we bring it to the airport and put it in our coffee in the morning. I'm like, I'd like to hear that. On the bourbon front, we have we'll have our high rye will come out certainly by the end of over spring, hopefully end of spring. We have a special release which will be very, very limited, like 1 barrel, I believe. It might be 2, but I think it's going to be 1 at Kentucky Bourbon Festival in September.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get at. Is do you think you've got anything big planned for a Kentucky Bourbon Fest? Because that was kind of your coming out party.
Well, after the bottled in bond, I don't know what we're going to do at Bourbon Festival this year, but Bourbon Fest is so important. And if people have not ever been to it, it's one of those bucket list kind of things you want to do once. Well, shit, you do it every year, but if you come from out of state, at least do it once because it's just amazing. And what you'll find is a lot of the folks, because a lot of the big distilleries, and we love all the big distilleries, but they'll release allocated bottles and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you see all that.
Yeah, so folks jump on that when they first get there, and then they come and spend the rest of the day in the craft area where there's 50 craft distilleries with all different stuff and different takes on everything, and it's wonderful, and the camaraderie with all the folks, the other distillers, and it's just great. And you'll try stuff you don't like, and we'll try stuff we don't like, and they might not like our stuff. But none of the other distillers is going to tell you that. They'll be like, oh, this is great. But it's just that event. It's just fantastic. And I love the bourbon. I was quoted on this in a newspaper or magazine here a little bit ago that had it not been for the Bourbon Festival, 3 years ago, we probably wouldn't be here because we had, when you set this up, it really costs a lot of money, and we've done it ourselves, my wife and I. And we've been pretty careful, but we were our credit cards were crazy, and because we were having to pay for stuff, and we went to
whatever you did, whatever buttons you pressed last year seemed to really resonate with
it was
a lot of us, whiskey nerds, whatever.
Yeah, it was great, and
a lot of people I know. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the brands that got to be on my radar by virtue of people that I know that were at the fest and had things to say about you guys. So,
and Greg says, he flies under the radar, but look at where all us are from, and we all heard of him. He's not flying under the radar anymore.
Not anymore.
No,
yeah, maybe not, right?
Yeah, he's definitely not. And to his point, when he changed his name at the Bourbon Fest, with like you said, with the little scrunchies and all that was a big thing that got changed a lot of things where everybody knew at that point who he was.
Yeah, I mean, from the stuff that I saw on socials, it was all this particular brand, and I was like, who the heck are these guys?
Yeah.
So whatever buttons you pressed, whatever charges you made, whatever changes you made, good for you, because it seems to
And-
have really gotten you guys some traction, Greg.
Thanks,
And I
Tom.
like, and I just want to thank my wife for booking the Fill Your Own. I mean, that's what put me and you on the on the
Yeah.
thing. And now I know when I got all these stickers that said Lawrenceburg and all these canned koozies, he was changing his name and he was just feeding me everything.
Yeah, I was. I'm
And
just a good guy like that.
and the first day I was there is when
you
you went to the
rebrand,
leather
you
aprons.
never know how it's going to go. But it seems that the timing, the brand, the name that you chose seems to have really caught on. So congratulations.
Let me
to
talk
you
about the brand and everything. Let me share this real quick so everybody can see. On the website, you can go over there and order all your Larrikin stuff here. Here's the tasting glasses.
We even have cologne.
Where did I see that? I saw it just
Just
now.
here, yeah. Oh no, that's the maple syrup. Did you try the maple syrup?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
We have a bottle here. I didn't try it yet.
Yeah, so
like you go to the
Marty had
spirits-
that in his sample plate. I did not.
Yeah.
You can click on each bottle, guys, like we did earlier, and you can see the mash bill. You can see the proof.
That's sweet purple, yeah.
Yeah, this tells you everything you need to know about each bottle before you go. Then you can book your experience here.
Yeah, we'd love to see you. And make sure if you are booking and coming in that you say that you saw us on Nose because that's really important to us. And if I'm there, I'll most certainly, which I'm most of the time, I'll most certainly come out to any of your followers and stuff and
That'd be
say
great.
hello.
Yeah.
Because that's important to us, right? So we're little. We don't have an advertising budget. We don't have any of that stuff. It's all word of mouth. And if people make the effort to come and see us, well, I'm going to make the effort to come out of the back room and come and see them because it's really, really important to us. I mean, we're literally living, this is my wife and I's American dream doing this. And
So
that's what we're doing.
So to Greg's
That's
point,
awesome.
when we were there, he took every minute when somebody brought a bottle back for him to sign. He would go, hold on. He would sign the bottle. He would introduce himself to every person, and he signed, every bottle we got. But he was also doing that for everybody that was on the other side of the door at the time. And it was just incredible what Greg was doing that day. He was entertaining us, but still, going back and forth and signing every bottle for everybody.
Top dog, I got to tell you, my favorite thing in the whole world is signing bottles
Yeah.
because it's like, what am I signing anything for that's not like an alimony check or something?
Yeah.
And it just blows me away that people are so interested in our whiskey and like it enough that they want to talk to me and or have me sign their bottle. I'm so grateful for that every day. And I would stand outside signing bottles for 24 hours. It's a really big deal for me. Every single one I sign is a big deal for me. And
it's a piece of you, man. It's part of you.
And
That's the thing.
Yeah, I think that's the feedback I'd want to hear from somebody who's grassroots, kind of getting his,
like I said,
his brand going, is that he wants everybody to be able to get to meet him, because one thing that we did, Marty, to kind of harken back to what we were talking about earlier, we were looking on your site trying to get a little bit of the about, the history, what have you.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that you say specifically on the bio is, it's not so much about our story harkening back to the Pilgrims. It's what's in your glass, and but then you got your stuff about you and the things that you've done, and you kind of maybe selling yourself a little bit short, because there is a story there, even though you're telling us that the story's not that important. So
yeah,
I think that the fact that you're interested in meeting with the whiskey community, signing bottles. I think that says a lot about the brand and where your head is at. And I think that's only going to help you because that's kind of the response that we would hope for is whiskey.
I still think one of the coolest things, and Greg talked about it about 45 minutes ago, is like these other distilleries, when they get off work, they come there.
Yes.
Because everybody that does that has one thing in common, and it's why they're there. It's friendship, and it's they work in whiskey, and we can go do this here. That's a big deal.
Our favorite thing of the week.
That's a big deal. I think I don't know if I've ever talked to anybody else on my channel that's ever said that that's happened or know that even goes on, which I'm sure it does. But now I know it's just like that. That's special. I don't know how else to. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Marty.
That's a big deal. So yeah, for sure. So I tell you what I want to do some other time, Greg, is we're going to get on here and we'll talk some of the cigars you got, and the what we'd pair it with from Larrikin.
That would be awesome. We're actually doing that a cigar and whiskey pairing at the I think it's Manchester Hotel in Lexington in like a month.
There's a friend of mine in chat, Jacob, up there saying hello to people. We have a cigar little group called Puffs and Pours, and we usually meet every Thursday online like we're doing here, and we all have a similar pour and a same cigar, and we share it together and talk through it, and maybe we can get something like that scheduled with you soon.
Mate, love to. We've got, I told you before, like when we're talking, we have our cigars that we have made for us in Miami, and he put some vapor with using our bourbon with water just into the outer leaf before just to wet them. I don't know how they make cigars, but and it doesn't taste like a bourbon flavored cigar, but it's maybe just that I know, and I think it's pretty cool. But he does that for us, and he hand rolls them, and we have them sitting in our humidor on the top shelf, just loose. And I would love to get your group some of those so they could. They're Cuban seed.
Yeah, I can probably work that out with Top Jimmy or one of the local guys to come by and buy those and do that and figure it out. But yeah, that's something we like doing with even cigar companies or just just whiskey in general. It
ping
makes
me,
it fun.
Ping me offline, and we'll get it sorted.
Perfect.
Like I'll get something so we can get it out to all you guys, and we're a registered or whatever it's called shop or whatever, so we can send them out direct. I'd love to do that. I think that'd be super fun.
Oh, we love it. We have a big time. John, Tom, any last questions for Greg? Because I know he's wore out. I can see it in his eyes. He's tired.
It's a long day.
The reason I turn my camera off when I'm getting up is because I got my pajamas on.
Good. Well, you're getting ready to go to bed. We're going to let you go.
You know what, Marty? I'll just say this. Thanks for sending the samples. I know we reached out and said, hey, we'd like to try some of your stuff. And shit, within a few days, here we go. And we talked about doing this for a little while. So I'm glad that, one, Marty, obviously we were, tasting along with these. And even if Greg couldn't make it was going just fine. But the fact that Greg was able to ultimately join us here and lend his insight, I think it was cool as heck. So Greg, thanks a lot for sending these to us. And, Marty, thanks a lot for hosting this stream.
Before Greg goes, let me bring up the wheel. I'm going to give away what I've got left, and I'll let Greg tell me how many times to randomize, share screen, and then you can, there we go, share.
Hey, how about if we throw in a sample bottle of our yet-to-be-released bourbon, our Rosewater bourbon?
There you go. Wow.
We'll do two.
It'll be
we'll do that one first.
Okay, so that'll be I don't know, like one of those sort of bottles, whatever size it is, and I'll do it tomorrow. I can bottle it tomorrow, and we can send it out tomorrow.
And I'll send you the information. All right, here we go.
Awesome as that.
Everybody see that?
Yep.
All right, Greg, how many times should I shuffle for the bottle giveaway?
Okay, I'm closing my eyes so I don't see Cindy's name there like a bunch. because that was the only one I saw. I think 4 times.
1, 2, 3, 4. It is random. This is for the bottle. The rose.
Ed with a. Oh, hang on. Oh, I see what you're doing.
Oh, Paul P.
Paul P.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Paul P's a hell of a dude. Congrats.
Well, Paul P, you'll be getting the first ever bottle that's not taken directly out of the barrel, out of our distillery.
That's awesome.
Actually, do another one. We'll do 2.
All right.
I'm on a roll.
All right. We'll do another one. All right.
Now I
guys.
wish I was in this raffle.
Yeah. Should have got in, buddy.
How many times top dog?
Larrikin, 3.
All right. For the second one. Oh.
Oh.
Is that me?
Oh.
The drama.
Hey, here's what's
God,
funny.
Jimmy.
Hey, Greg, he's coming to see you tomorrow anyway.
No.
He said he was. Yeah, he lives in Lexington.
He's on his way.
Oh, tell him to come and visit. I'll just give it straight to him.
Yeah, he said he's coming
awesome.
tomorrow. Listen. We've already got him an order to pick up stuff. So he's
That's
coming.
awesome.
All right, Tom, give me a number and we'll do that for what I've got left.
All right, do 2 more, Marty.
All right. Here we go. Guys, thank you for getting in and supporting. Big
Good
Ed.
old Ed.
All right. I've got stuff to
Ed.
send to Ed. Perfect.
All right. I don't know if Ed's still in here, but Ed is one of the biggest
Most giving.
supporters of Whiskey Tube channels. So, you know what?
Guys,
Congratulations.
there's my
Ed.
email. If you have any questions in the giveaway, just email me and I'll get with Greg. But yeah, Paul P, email me and I'll get your info to Greg. And Top Jimmy will be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
He'll help you bottle them.
I'll be like,
that?
who are you?
Yeah.
Top Jimmy.
Yeah, Top
He's
Jimmy.
like, hey, you remember me? Oh,
Yeah,
man.
The gals
Yeah,
from the
thank
front
you,
will be like,
Tats.
Top Jimmy's here. And I'll be like, what?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Play along, dude.
Yeah, just go with it. Trust me.
Just go with it. Exactly.
Fantastic human.
Hey,
Awesome.
Greg,
Yeah.
cheers. Thank you,
Cheers,
Marty.
Greg.
Hey, gentlemen, thank you so much.
John.
Greg, are you going to go backstage with us for a few minutes?
Sure.
Okay, good.
All right.
Because I got a couple of things I want to show you.
All right, guys.
All right.
Guys, thanks for watching. Thursday, check out Bourbon Jerk at 7:30. Correct, Tom?
Yeah, I think we're gonna do an open mic type situation.
we're gonna have a
Check
good
it
time,
out.
so-
Hang out. We'll have some pours.
Yeah, so we'll recap tonight a little bit with Tom and talk about some of this stuff, how you can get it, and all that good stuff. So, guys, thanks for watching, and winners, email me if you need to, and we'll get this stuff to you. Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Cheers.